Anyway, let's try it. Whoa. Whew. That is... Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. It's Mark from Oika. Today, I'm going to be making some powdered green tea, a bowl of powdered green tea. Now you might be thinking, do you mean matcha? Well, no, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Powdered green tea is not the same as matcha, although technically speaking, matcha is a type of powdered green tea. Now I make my own matcha, and the way that I do that is I take what's called tencha. It's unground tea leaves, and then that's ground into powder in a stone mill, just like you can see here. Now that tea that I use to grind into matcha is called tencha, and it's different, it's special than other green teas. Now there's a lot of reasons why tencha is different than other green teas, but the only one I'm really gonna focus on right now, for this video anyway, is the fact that tencha is covered. So before harvesting the tea leaves from the bushes, they literally cover them, either with reeds, bamboo reeds, or just with what's called direct shading, which is a tarp that goes right over the bush, and that blocks out a large percentage of the light. Now when you block the light, the plant goes through some changes. One is the plant increases the amount of chlorophyll, which makes it that bright neon color that we love in matcha. The second thing is the tea changes in taste. It becomes more sweet, it becomes more savory. So long story short, when I grind that tea into the powder, the resulting powder is really bright green and really savory. So as kind of a fun experiment, I ground up some guapian. This guapian comes from Tea Drunk. I ground it today in my mill, and I've never tasted this. In fact, I've never tasted a high quality Chinese green tea that's been ground into powder and consumed at whole leaf like you do with matcha. So I have no idea what's gonna happen today. I'm a little bit worried that I'm gonna hate it, but maybe I'll love it. And if I love it, that's even more scary because maybe I'll stop grinding traditional Japanese matcha. Okay, probably not. But anyway, let's get into it. I brought some matcha as well so we can kind of compare the differences and see what the powder looks like and how it's different. Trust me, it looks very different. So I'm actually gonna move the bowl, and first off, let's take out some matcha powder, and I'm gonna put it right here on the table where you can see it. So here we go. Here's our lovely bright neon green matcha. So I'll just leave that here. As far as smell, it's very sweet. Super, super sweet. You get a toasted nori in it. You get some wonderful flavors. I just love matcha. Let's move on to the guapian and see. By the way, I ground this already, so I know what it looks like. It's very different. So we're gonna open this guy up. All right, so here we go. Here is the guapian, and you can really see the difference between a powdered green tea and matcha. I mean, look at that. It's just like totally different colors. If you take matcha, by the way, just like a little teaspoon, leave it out in the sun for about 10 minutes and it actually changes color and starts to look like the guapian here. So yeah, very different colors here. Both of them, same texture, both are wonderfully silky smooth. That comes from grinding it in a stone mill like I did. So now's the fun part. Let's actually try this. So I'm gonna dump that. Although I could have used it, it's fine. Boom, all right, we got our bowl. I'm gonna use water, hot water, the same as matcha, so I'm putting in a little bit of water to warm the bowl. I'm gonna dump this out, then dry the bowl. I have a sifter, probably not necessary, but I'll use it anyway. The sifter helps break apart any lumps. It also stops it from clumping it when you pour water in, like hot cocoa. Oh, here we go. Look at that. I'll put in about 2 grams. There's our powdered guapian. All right, ooh, that does not look like matcha. You can tell that something is afoot. Something is a little weird here. Okay, so whatever. Let's go ahead and brew it. I already have my cha sen here. My whisk is ready to go. The water here is hot. I'd say maybe 75 to 80 degrees Celsius. You don't want to use boiling water. 70 to 75 C is probably good. So I'll put in about 60 milliliters of water. Now we'll whisk it. We got a nice amount of froth that stuck up on the cha sen. It's always a good sign. And then there is our bowl of powdered guapian. The foam looks good, very creamy. No idea what this is gonna taste like. It's like matcha in winter. Very cool tone, doesn't have that bright green vibrance. Anyway, let's try it. Whoa. Whew. That is very, very intense. That is extremely intense. In fact, I'm gonna dilute that with a little bit of water. Wow. Okay. One of the reasons why we shade the tea plant, like I said, is to make it more savory. But this tea plant obviously hasn't been shaded, so it still has all of that bitterness and intensity and astringency, which when you steep, doesn't really matter because you can control how much of that you're extracting with the brewing technique that you're using. And with matcha, we can do that to a degree. I can just use less hot water. So with this, I probably should have used like 60 degrees Celsius water, a little cooler, a little bit more water than I used here. So I just added some anyway. It is a super highly concentrated guapian, incredibly aromatic, but man, is that intense. It's like a bouquet of flowers. It's far more floral than the matcha. Guapian is naturally a buttery and rich and savory tea. So it does come through. This doesn't taste too unlike matcha. It's just a lot more bitter, a lot more astringent. It's a lot more tannic. And on top of all of that, you get the toasty, roasty notes that come from Chinese green tea that you don't see too often in Japanese green tea. That's because making tencha, they're not pan-fried like a lot of Chinese green teas are, although there's some exceptions. With Japanese green tea, with tencha, it's steamed and then it's baked dried. So it's a little bit different. You get way more fire, way more roasty, toasty notes in the guapian. Look, this isn't bad. It's just, it's really intense. But yeah, there we go. Look at that. Guapian. So yeah, today I did something new. I got to grind a Chinese green tea to make a quote unquote matcha, but it was a fun exercise. I do think this would be pleasant and worth doing in the right ratio. If you like matcha and tea, be sure to follow my channel here. Not only do we grind fresh, but we focus on single cultivar, terroir specific matchas. I hope you have a great week. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.